a lot of people don't know this part, and I haven't ever been open about it, but like, if real estate didn't work out, like I was not going to be here anymore. Like I was to that point in my life where I was just like, dude, there's nothing more for me here. So like I get emotional talking about it, but like if it didn't work, I wasn't going to be here.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Young Money Mindset, hosted by Luke Careccia and Robbie Holycross. From the ground up, where we talk about mindset, real estate, the hustle, and everything to help you achieve your dreams.
Welcome back to Young Money Mindset. We're super stoked to have Justin Mercer on the podcast today. First guest, so we appreciate.
Special.
Yeah, man. We appreciate you coming on. Quick introduction for those of you that don't know Justin. He's got 50 deals in the last 12 months, so he's killing it out here. He's a Hollywood actor. He starred in Trippie Redd, Kevin Gates, Gunna, Dave East in 21 Pilots, and he shot a handful of movies as well. So welcome to the podcast, Justin.
Yeah,
appreciate your time.
Young money isn't like you guys are young, right? Because I'm not. I'm not young.
It goes all around.
I wish I was young.
Yeah. Well, cool, man. So kicking it off, so what was like your upbringing like? I know that kind of shapes, your career moving forward. So what was that like? What kind of kid were you?
Single mom. I got a single mom. My father passed away when I was 8. He wasn't around much when I was a child. I remember his last couple of years he was homeless. So like he would like hustle to get money to take us out. My mom would drop us off in downtown Indianapolis, and he would take us out with the money he went and asked for.
Yeah.
And then, so he was still around, but he wasn't like around like he should have been. But yeah, single mom. She had 3 jobs. I saw her work a full-time job, night job, weekend job. So time with my mom wasn't a thing. But now that I'm a dad, I'm like, dude, I don't know how the fuck you did it alone. Like, there's impossible. I'd do it half-time, and it's hard as fuck, let alone full-time. So I grew up watching a hustling mom, so that instilled all the work ethic in the world to me.
Yeah. You're only child?
No, I got 3 sisters. One of them's an older half-sister. We didn't find her until later on in life, but
Okay.
I grew up in a household with 2 sisters, an older one and a younger one. So only boy and middle child, so I was neglected.
Yeah. Only man in the house, kind of had to.
No, my mom babied the shit out of me.
Mama's boy growing up?
Yeah, I got mama's boy tattooed on me.
So when did you assume the role of being the man of the household?
I didn't until afterwards. Like I didn't have a father figure in the house. So like my mom makes fun of me because when I was 14, she was like I was getting ready for school, high school, and I had cologne, like the old you used to pour cologne in your hand and like rub it. I would put it on my finger like this and rub it on my wrist and put it on my neck like that. And she's like, "What are you doing?" That's how I saw her like fucking put on her.
Like, the girls do it, rub the wrists together.
And she was like, she laughed. She's like, "No, like guys do it like this." And she was showing me. I was like, now I got the spray shit. But yeah, I wasn't like I wasn't mature. I got picked on a lot in high school. I was small. I'm 6'1", 250 right now. I was 5'7", 130 pounds in junior year of high school when I was 16. So I was tiny.
Where did you graduate, or where did
Marcos
you go
Veniza in Tempe.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
Cool. So, and when did you move out to Arizona?
So I was born and raised here. We moved there for 3-4 years because we didn't have any family out here, and the split with my mom and dad. And then he passed away out there, and then we moved back.
Got it.
Yeah.
So graduated, man, Marcos Deniza, what a school. Man, I've heard a lot of stories about Marcos. I had a couple buddies go to Marcos
It was
Deniza.
it's a great mix of people. Like, you literally have everyone there. It's like the most multicultural school I can think of. You get the rich kids, the non-rich kids, the hood kids, we had Guadalupe that feeds in, so you have every race, religion, like every type of person. Yeah.
Did you get along with everybody? Or
I got picked on, but for the most part, I'm an introvert, dude. I'm like very quiet to myself. I played Magic the Gathering. You guys remember that game?
No.
I don't think I do, no.
The card game Magic?
Oh, no. I think I have.
Oh, yeah. It's like Pokemon.
I've heard the
and
name.
shit.
Yeah.
But I played that in the
Yu-Gi-Oh,
cafeteria
like-
my sophomore year of high school. Like, I was that kid that was fucking playing card games, and I was a little nerd.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no one, like, other than getting picked on, no one, like, fucked with me because I wasn't, like, yeah. I started hanging out with a cooler crowd when I could drive, and that's when, like, I was hanging out with the cooler people.
Yeah, what was your first car?
1981 Chevy Citation.
Damn, there you go. Okay.
It was a 2-door one, so it was a sport coupe. But
Yeah, look at
I was driving back from lunch once. I went over a speed bump, and the whole fucking exhaust system fell off and I dragged it into
in
the
the road.
parking lot. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, it was an old beater. I got a paint job on it. I put a system in it. It was so dumb. But if I ever, like, fucking get my dream home and I have space, like, I swear to God, I'm buying my first car back. Like, I want that car back.
I grew up, I had a truck, like an old clapped out Chevy Silverado. And I dream of buying that truck again.
Same one?
And yeah, the same one, like finding the VIN number, like going out, getting the VIN, like tracking it down and just buying it and just like cheering it out and just leaving it in the garage. Like something about your first car. It's just all those memories, right?
Yeah.
Like driving to school and like getting your first chick in there and just doing everything like that is it's just trippy.
Yeah,
you
but
know?
I bought it myself too. Like, I worked, I got the paint job myself.
Yeah.
I put like everything I did, I worked for. So
Yeah,
like,
I got
it's
the time.
almost
That's
like,
your baby. That's your
Yeah, I want that thing back just because of the level of like responsibility it taught me how to value money and how to spend it. So
Yeah, that's awesome. So what other like adversity did you face early on in life? It sounds like you were picked on like in high school, but when did that like stop, or what adversity prior to that did you face?
I was just I think it was more. I've always been in a me versus me battle more than anything else. So I don't know. It sucks growing up single mom. Like, a lot of stuff, it affects you more on down the road. Like, my first marriage, like, I didn't know what a father was. I didn't have one around. I didn't know what a husband was. My mom's never been in a normal relationship. She's been treated like shit by every dude she's ever met. So to me, my only job was to provide and protect. As long as I'm working my ass off and protecting the family and I put the hot food on the table and pay the bills, like, that's what I thought I was supposed to do. Then you realize when you're in a relationship, that's not how you can sustain one. Like, you have to do the other shit too, the little stuff that I didn't think I wasn't grown up seeing it. I never saw a healthy relationship. So it was more like the adversaries and more just like the mindset you create for yourself for the future.
Yeah, and just not having like maybe that role model, right?
Yeah.
In life, like early on.
Yeah, but I'm not one of those people that woe is me. Like,
No, yeah.
Yeah, it's just more like if I didn't go through that shit, like, would I be the same person I am today?
And that's what I think about too a lot is like I think that adversity and like to our audience out there listening, especially like the younger generation, right? I think some of that adversity early on in life kind of shapes you as an adult, right?
Yeah.
And it really kind of paves that path for you moving forward, whether that is in business or that's in like the gym, fitness. Like, when did you start taking your fitness more serious?
As soon as I graduated high school.
Okay.
So I was very tiny. I was 5'3" freshman year. Junior year, I was driving at 16 at 5'6", 130 pounds.
Yeah.
I loved football. I never played because I was tiny. Senior year, I blew up. I don't know where it happened, but I graduated. I was 6'1", like 200 pounds. Like, it had a huge growth spurt, right? But I was overweight. I had like a lot of body fat. I was eating fucking
Big Macs,
Thirst Busters and
whatever.
Hot Pockets for bed. I gained a lot of weight after high school. Like, I was just like, dude, I'm tired of getting picked on. I'm tired of being this guy. Like, football was always in my life. So I played football after high school. Ended up getting scholarships. I played for the semi-pro team here. Like,
sweet.
I did a Rattlers private tryout.
Yeah, yeah.
So I got really good in football quick because I've been around it my whole life, and I was people don't understand. I was a natural like fast athlete, but I ran a 4.47 40. Like, that was quick as hell, but I never had the athletic life growing up. So I had my glory years in my early 20s, and then just fucking fell off.
Yeah.
What do you mean? What do you mean you fell off? I mean, it sounds like you kind of like found your groove, like figured out who Justin Mercer was, like towards the end of your high school years. Like, you weren't that timid introvert kid. Like, when do you feel like you like found your groove and like decided like who you wanted to be, like, and saw that vision?
I think when people start like reacting to you and you start getting like credibility, like, you know, when I played football, like the credibility, like I was a third string defensive end and I led the league in sacks. Like, how do you lead the league in sacks when you're third string, right? So me moving up and seeing like these people are like, and I never lost an introvert, so I'm still like that now. A lot of people don't know, but I was that in my football team. I was that everywhere. But when people start praising you now, like the people you look up to are starting to like praise you. That's what drove me more than anything, is the pat on the backs. Like, the people that I never thought would be my friends or never thought would like me, just because of my own self-consciousness. Yeah. When they start feeding into you, I think that's...
It's almost like when you give yourself credit and start to work for yourself and start to work out, like other people recognize that and you have like an attraction in a way.
Well, yeah. I was the kid that got picked on his whole life to now people were like, don't mess with that guy.
Yeah.
Like, that was always the thing, don't mess with that guy. I was like, me? Like, I'm like...
Yeah, what am I going to do?
I don't like... Like, I can take care of myself, but I don't start shit. Like, I don't. Yeah. That's not me. But I was big when I was playing football. Traps were fucking huge. Like, I was really big when I played football. I think I just liked the attention it got me, that it was not negative anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you?
Go ahead.
So it kind of just like turned a new leaf, right? Like the whole football jumping into football kind of turned that new leaf. You started getting that self-confidence,
Confidence, yeah.
right? That confidence and like that belief in yourself. And that's one thing I talk to a lot of younger guys about is like, you know, it's very hard for someone else to believe in you when you don't believe in yourself. So I think that belief starts with yourself. But it's one thing a lot of people struggle with is like, how do you get that confidence? Like if it's not football, right? What is it? Is it, you know, a lot of times I would say it's probably like a career, right?
Yeah.
In some cases, you know, people start they get out of either high school or college and then they start a career and maybe they have some success early on or they don't and they switch careers until they get that success and then they get that confidence. So
it's like imposter syndrome when you're not. I get that now. Like I have real huge imposter syndrome. Everything I do, because I'm not used to success. I've never had it. I've never seen it. I've never been around it. So to me, I'm like I'm not there yet. I look up to too many people that I shouldn't be looking up to.
Well, and a lot of people too. It's like they don't feel like they're worthy of it. Like just being 100% real. Like I talk to guys all the time where they're just like they sit down and they're just like break down, dude, and they're like, I just don't. I was never successful. My family wasn't successful. Like. Why me, right? Why am I?
I feel guilt all the time.
Yeah.
I sit and I pull up to my office. Like I'm like this. I can't believe this is my life. Like I feel guilty because I know I'm just so used to what I had that I know people still are in that position. I just feel bad, but it puts guilt on myself. And it shouldn't be there. But
yeah. And I guess you were one of the very few though that weren't complacent, right? Because I know kind of early on, right before you got into real estate, like a lot of people are complacent in that life, right? And I've talked to a lot of people. And, you know, they have just a lot of different things, right? They have a lot of different roadblocks and obstacles that they have to face. And it's like those obstacles are there, right? But it's really that complacency where it's like, I don't want to change, right? So what made you change, I guess?
Because I was in that spot. I was in the spot where I thought I was only good enough for what I had. So I was a teacher. There's no money in teaching in Arizona. Like I made no money, but I worked with kids my whole life. Like
what did you make as a teacher in Arizona?
$31,000 a year. I had $800 every 2 weeks.
Wow.
And like you're living paycheck to paycheck, and worse than that. Like you got credit card debt going up. I had a summer job to like waiting tables just to make up for money. Like it was a great job. The hours, you can't beat the hours and the time off. But as far as like there was no money in it, so I left the career I loved, which was teaching, to go drive a semi for Pepsi. My roommate worked there. He told me, don't do it, dude. They're going to work you to the bone. And that's what happened. For 13 years, I was at that company. But that was the toxic mindset that triggered a lot of, like, falling dominoes. To the point where, like, real estate, it wasn't an option for me ever. Like, I always wanted to do it, but to me, it was just like, dude, I can't do it because of my look, right? I didn't think I could do any job. And I was afraid to leave Pepsi. I was afraid to get fired. I was their best driver. I was the one that had the most cases per hour. I was on time.
Did you take pride in that, though?
100%. Yeah, because that's what I grew up with.
Yeah, and it's like something as simple as that, like in terms of like, hey, I'm going to be the best driver I can be. I'm going to be the best teacher I can be. That all translates, I think, throughout your life.
That's the good thing about real estate, which we'll get into later, but you're never going to be the best. Like, I'm never going to be the best. But like it always gives you something to work towards. But with the driving, the complacency, I thought that was my life. And it ruined 2 marriages. It ruined my time with my kids. It ruined my mindset. So real estate wasn't something I always wanted to do. And it was just someone gave me permission to do it. And it wasn't like they gave me permission. It was seeing someone else's success. I was like, oh, shit, maybe there's this opportunity for me. So I was like, worst day ever at work, dude. I was driving back to the plant. It was a 14-hour shift. It was 117 degrees out. Like, my back hurts. I'm fucking I had to bring an extra shirt because I sweat so much because it's hot. And you're outside in the middle of parking lots, down the stacking pallets and wheeling it in. So I saw this billboard and said the tattooed lawyer. And he's the anti-lawyer now, but he used to be called the tattooed lawyer. And he had a sleeveless suit on with a big gavel. And I looked at the billboard, and I just remember thinking, that's exactly who I'd work with. And just that thought, 4 years later, when now I'm in real estate, 4 years later, that's what drove me to real estate, is seeing that and knowing, like, dude, he built something from his look, right? From his brand and his look, maybe I have the same shot. And a lot of people don't know this part, and I haven't ever been open about it, but, like, if real estate didn't work out, like, I was not going to be here anymore. Like, I was to that point in my life where I was just like, dude, there's nothing more for me here. So, like, I get emotional talking about it, but
Yeah.
like, if it didn't work, I wasn't going to be here.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that, but that's why I started the Successful Misfit Company, because a lot of people are in that mindset. And it's just that average fucking Joe that you see every day, and, like, the struggles they have, like, beneath that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you struggle with drugs and alcohol throughout that 13 years? Or
Not struggle, no.
no? Okay.
No, I have addicted personality, but also I had kids, so I did a lot. I did a lot of pills and stuff because the pills is what got the mind out. Like that's what
Shut you off.
made me numb. That's what. Yeah. So I was a pill addict before I had my first daughter, but she's 11 now at OxyContin.
Okay.
Oxycodone, like the expensive shit, like it's
real deal
$60
shit,
a pill.
yeah.
It's heroin, dude.
Yeah.
So I did that for a while, Percocets, all that shit. But it was like that was the only thing that made me happy. Like that was like you get your mind off everything. But when I had my first kid, was I addicted? No, I don't think I was, but probably. Like if I go back to that era, yeah. But when I had my first daughter, I grew up without a father. So I'm like, I'm not gonna put anything in that way. So it was something that as soon as she was born, I cut everything out. Like it wasn't an issue. Didn't have cold turkey. Just like I'm not doing it anymore.
Yeah, it like becomes your vice. It's
Yeah.
like that's what drives you. And like Mike Tyson talked about it once, and it's like the way he kept himself out of depression and out of that mindset was by setting goals and trying to achieve them. When you don't have any goals, you get lost down that rabbit hole, and that's why being at Pepsi so long, it's like it's just continuous, the same thing every single day, and I could see how your mind would kind of just start to slip
shake going to work.
without a vision in mind. It's like, and now with the position you're in, like it seems like you're constantly like setting the next goal, and you're going out and you're like crushing it, and you're going to get it, and like you've got a family, and like it seems like that's from drugs to now that's your vice now. Like that's what gets you going.
Yeah, my addictions work.
Yeah, exactly.
Sucks.
It's a healthy addiction though.
Yeah,
That's what you want. Yeah.
So like I'm still balancing life out, but at least I'm happy. That's why it's like a lot. Like real estate can go away tomorrow. Like I'm gonna figure something out because I figured out how to get out of that life where I was unhappy. So when I was first starting, a lot of the look and the this and the that, people were like, "What if it doesn't work?" And I was like, "I don't have an option. I'm not gonna be here if it doesn't work. I don't think you guys understand. Like I'm not gonna be here." So if I didn't have, we talked about earlier when I said I'll get to it. That's what it is. Like people that experience a back against the wall moment, or people that have nothing to lose, or people that just have been through shit and they just know what it's like, they'll always put themselves in positions to never get back there. And I think the people like door knocking, that's another thing. You just said you're in door knocking. I said you're going to be the best agent ever because you're used to this shit. Like no matter what happens in real estate, like do you want to go back to knocking doors for 10 hours in summer?
Nothing can be that bad, right?
Yeah, so you've had your back against the wall. Like I'm not going back to that life. And that's what I think makes a successful real estate agent. Not like a look. It's a work ethic. It's a different side of visions of knowing like what reality is outside of what a job can be.
Yeah, and I completely agree with the whole back against the wall thing because, like, you're exactly right. Like, I still have flashbacks of that. Like, I'll be walking up to a listing or, walking up to tour a home, and I just look down the street, and I'm like, man, I was the guy walking down the street in 110-degree weather, sweating, knocking on people's door, 10 hours a day. And it's like, I do not want to do that. I want to go from my AC car to the door to back in.
That's a hustle, dude. That's a hard job.
It is.
If someone's willing to do that, they can do anything.
And I think it's a big mind thing. And that's really what our podcast, Young Money Mindset, we really try to hammer the mindset point home because I think you can be the most talented person, but if your mindset isn't there, and I see a lot of people struggling with it. So what would you want to say to like the younger generation right now that's maybe, thinking, I know there's a lot of entitlement out there. I mean, let's just be real about it, right? In our generation, there's a lot of guys, a lot of my buddies, right? That just think, the world should be this fair, hey, I work hard and I should be paid X amount of dollars, or just what's your thought on that? Like the entitlement and just the younger generation.
I still don't have a mindset around it. I think it's like more, it's okay to not be okay. Cause I think a lot of people know their problems. They know the issues. They know their downfalls, but they're afraid to admit it to everyone else because they don't want to look like a fraud. They don't want to look like they're weak, like especially men. Men do not say their weaknesses because they don't want to look weak. Like it took forever for me to express emotion that, like today, it brings emotion out of me. So I never talked about it because I'm not going to be that fucking guy who cries and does this. But I think everyone has that mentality. And in like business, my second year of real estate, I made more money than anyone my entire life, like put together. Like I was like, I didn't think this was ever a possibility for me. Third year in, we have a market turn. I have an office. I have a team. I have marketing. Like it all starts just fucking tanking, right? Because you got so much money wrapped up.
So much overhead. You're paying this. That thing's coming in.
Yeah, I started losing money, and I started getting depressed. Like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Like if I fail, I feel like I put myself on such a platform, not purposely, but just with the branding I put myself on a level where people are like watching me. If I fail, they're all right. Like I was supposed to fail. He's not going to. So I was afraid to ever say anything. I just kept letting it be bad. Instead of, I talked to other agents that were, I'm like, dude, here's what I'm experiencing. Oh, no problem. Like this happened. I've been through this 5 times. I came bankruptcy 4 times. I did this. I lost $100,000 in this house. And I was like, oh shit. Like all these successful people in my eyes, like they've all had their 6 or 7 times of this. So when I was more open talking about it is when I started like learning different avenues of money making. Like if this is failing, here's your other opportunities that you can branch off of it.
And just knowing that other people are going through that, right?
Yeah.
And I agree with you. Like back in June, I think like at least personally, just being vulnerable here with you today, it's like our business came, pretty low. We got to a pretty low point and had we had 6, 7 wholesale deals we canceled, right? Lost EMD on a lot of those, and just kind of had to like reset and just kind of reinvent ourselves as a team, as our culture, everything really. And I think that's one thing in the real estate industry that I've noticed in just my short amount of time is like there's a lot of hush behind closed doors. We're having this open conversation, but then out and about in the office or wherever it is, it's like, oh no, we're putting this persona and this image on where everyone else is looking at it and they don't know what's going on behind those closed doors.
That's what sucks. I wouldn't thought I was a fucking multimillionaire from my marketing. I'm like, no, dude, like this is,
I'm not
I
here.
spent a lot of money. I made $70,000 ruining my life. Like, so if I made 70 grand, I'm fine. Like I ruined my life with 70 grand a year. I don't need, so I was reinvesting so much money back in my business because my whole plan of real estate wasn't to have this upfront money. It was to become a name. It was to be the lawyers you see on the billboards, the Shankos, all these companies that like when I bought an engagement ring, I went to Shanko. I didn't go to any other company. And
Did you go to Rafi too? I had a
yeah. So, but I know Rafi's phone number. I know Lerner and Rowe's phone number.
Yeah, you can't forget it.
Yeah. All from marketing, right? I know how to get to Shanko right now. I can tell you exactly how to get there. On their fucking jingle, and no one's ever been that name in real estate. So when I joined real estate, all I was going for is like I want to be the lawyer. I want to be the Shanko, and I'll pour every cent back in to become a name down the road.
Have you always like leaned into like your personality and your look? And I was curious, like, so when did the exterior look come? Like, when did you start to get tatted up? Was that all while you were at Pepsi, or was that over the years?
Some was when I was teaching, but they weren't hidden.
Yeah.
Pepsi, there's other backstories with the tattoos too, but it was like my escape, dude. It was like I liked the pain. I liked the going and getting the pain, and I was like really insecure, so the tattoos were my like shed away from like putting the things on things I was self-conscious about.
Yeah.
Instead, the tattoos will take all the attention, not the things I'm unhappy with myself. That's where all the tattoos started.
Yeah.
It was an addiction to the pain and the masking what I was unhappy with myself about. So like the look was, I've always had it. I never like rode deep into it until I was acting and I was getting paid for my look. Like I was getting the gigs from my look. With real estate, it was my way to set myself apart from everybody. It was my way to, not a lot of people use me, but I'm the only person that's doing this. Like there's people that have tattoos, but nobody has their face and head and neck and branded. I looked up the tattooed realtor before I was even finished with school. Or back before I even started school, I looked up tattooed realtor, inked agent, inked realtor. There was like fucking 40.
Yeah.
But when I looked at all their pages, it was like it was a business card or a name. They didn't like brand. It wasn't like.
So you knew right away that was gonna be like your thing. Like you were gonna lean into that as heavy as possible to set yourself apart.
I had my car getting wrapped before I graduated school. I had my business cards being made. I had open house signs being made. I had everything being made before I even graduated school because I knew there's no fail. I don't have an option.
Yeah.
Like I have to go all in or just not do it at all. And that's the thing with new agents. They're just getting it in because they see somebody else's wealth or they see somebody else easy money. That's what I did research before I went to school. Like I'm very methodical. Like what am I doing? Like if I'm really going to do this, like what am I looking at? I talked to agents. I looked up statistics. I'm like, there's an 85% fail rate in this industry. You don't get paid for the first 7 months in the business. I knew all this shit before I went to school.
Yeah.
And that's where people miss the boat. Is they come in thinking it's easy. Like you don't. And if someone comes out to me and says, "Oh, I want to do real estate. Where do I go to school?" I already know. I'm just like, dude. I don't say it, but I'm like, don't talk to me. Like you haven't even looked where to go to school.
If you're not researching it, if you're not like diving headfirst in prior to even getting like I was in that like since I got licensed at 21 and since I was been 18, knocking doors, right? Looking between doors and walking around. I was always looking like, hey, what should I study, right? What materials can I get my hands on? What can I, start telling people I'm already licensed, right? Before I was even licensed, like, hey man, I'm going to be licensed soon. Like, I was 2 years out. So I totally see that, I guess, really on like kind of switching gears a little bit. I think too, a lot of agents sometimes fall into that trap, right? Where it's like, they're so excited to get out there and start making money. They miss all the little things, right? And it's all the little things that ADRE, NAR, those, that's what they're looking for, right?
Yeah.
And obviously the big stuff too. But I mean, a lot of times it's the little stuff, right?
You guys do cash a lot, right? Okay.
Yeah. So we do a lot of wholesale. We do, a lot of just resale as well. So
One of the complaints came on a cash billboard I had because I had my brokerage on it. I'm like, it's a personal investment. I don't need a brokerage. And I fought them on it, and I won. I refused to put it on there. Because I'm like, I'm not going to be held to any certain standard. Like, this is a cash personal investment thing. I'm not going to change it. But the thing I said behind it is, don't you want me out there offering cash? Like, you should want me doing this. I said, because there's 20 shitty wholesalers that are going to be here in the business this weekend from a fucking course.
Yep.
And they're going to lock up sellers in contracts they can't sell because they have to come in higher than someone who can actually perform. I said, they're going to lock up a seller who might need a foreclosure, who might need to move, who might have a medical emergency, who might have this, that they need the money to close. I said, all these people are fucking up the industry because they just want to be better than my offer. I said, wouldn't you rather have me where I go in there and I'm ethically working for the seller? Like, how many times have you guys had a conversation with the seller? Like, dude, if they could pay that, I promise you I'd give it to you.
Yeah.
Like, if they could offer $320, why would I not say $321? It's just because I don't know if they'll sell it that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, you guys are complaining about somebody who's actually like Doug Hopkins. He's great. Like, all these people that are building a name for themselves in the industry, like, that's who you want to make cash offers. Like, don't mess with them.
And a lot of it too is like the YouTube mentality, I call it, right? It's like they watch 2 YouTube videos on wholesaling, and it's giving wholesaling a bad rep. I think and I would love to hear your opinion on like the whole disclosure law. We disclose it in every offer that we're wholesale buyers, right? Yeah. Because it's like we got nothing to hide, and it's like we want to follow everything by the T because we want to ethically work for that seller as well. Mm-hmm. And we struggle with that all the time, right? Where it's like, hey, we're at 250. We know there's no possibility, right, of us going to 265. What's going to happen is they're playing the investor game, right? They're locking you up at 265, and then they're going to come price drop you in a Binzer, right? And it's that constant battle, right, that we do. And I think Phoenix in particular is kind of a hot spot for that. There's 100%. A ton of wholesalers out here trying to do it. So
I found one way to combat that. I'm not going to say it on mine. I'll tell you guys afterwards because it's a great idea that no one does. But it combats that objection. But more than that, it's like I call these people out. Like I yelled at one the other day who sent me a deal. And I was like, why are you sending this to me? Like, no one can pay that. He's oh, yeah. And I'm like, what's the seller situation? He told me. I'm like, you're literally fucking this guy. And I was yelling at him in my office. I was fucking furious. I was like, dude, get me the number. Let me go list his house, and I'll pay you 50% of whatever commission I get. Like, I can't do that legally. I'll have to do it some other way. But I'm like, you're gonna fuck this guy because you locked him up in a contract, and he has to sell it in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I'm like people like that, dude, man, I can't stand it.
It gives
like
wholesaling a bad rep.
100%.
Shady, yeah.
And that's why there's going to be shit that happens to us is because, and I think it's also lazy on wholesalers. It's like, because you don't want a cold call. You don't want a door knock. You did this shit 10 years ago and you made a shit ton of money. So now you want to make your money teaching shitty people how to do it. Because you're afraid to do the work. You're afraid to put the legwork in that you know you have to sustain the business. So a lot of people are taking that backseat approach where they're like, you know what, I'm just going to teach people how to do it and I'll charge them money.
I'm going to launch my course. You've seen a lot of that right now.
Yeah, I think there needs to be some standards in the courses, like honestly, like because you're never going to, like they can come in and regulate some shit, but you can also like regulate the people that are selling courses to say you're teaching them how to do something that they can fuck a lot of people in. So you have to also... You should have in your course what value comes with what you're doing. Like, because at the end of the day, you're helping someone solve a problem. And if you're just in it to make $10,000 on a wholesale and you don't care who you fuck behind it, like, do you really want that guy in the industry? Because he's indirectly going to fuck your people too. So I just think there needs to be different standards on the courses too and all that kind of stuff. And I know it's not them directly. Like, I don't think they're maliciously doing it. It's creating this fucking frenzy. And even if they stopped, YouTube's going to do it. So it's nothing they can do, but I just wish there was some standards behind that portion.
I called them all out on social, like back when the market kind of shifted a little bit back, what was that, a year ago, 6 months at least now. It was funny how once the market kind of shifted a little bit here in Phoenix, everyone launched a course. It's just like, wow, everyone's real estate business dried up. So now they have an education business. And it's interesting to see. And I it's really a lot of the younger generation, right? That's just buys it, right? They don't question who they're buying the course from. They don't question where this money's coming from. It's all that perception is reality mindset, right? It's like they perceive these guys as, big wholesalers, quote unquote. And it's like, I'm going to go pay X amount of dollars for it.
Everybody wants to be
on
the
the credit
Grant
card.
Cardone of wholesale. They want to be the fucking Tony Robbins of solar. And they just spend money on followers, drive fancy cars, yell on a microphone to the videographer, and they're just inspiring the next youth to go fucking. And they're not giving true value because, like, I don't want you to ruin your life. When I have a new agent come to me to be on my team, I tell them straight up. I said, hey, if you're looking for, if I don't see you working, like, I don't care if the production's not there. If the activity's not there, I'm letting you know I'm checking out. And I just want to be upfront with you because I don't want you to come on my team and you're like, Justin doesn't help me. If I don't see you helping yourself, I will check out. I'm letting you know that because I'm not going to let your time affect my other business and my other agents, right? So no one's upfront with that shit. You're buying all these people on a false dream. You're not giving them the expectations of what can happen as well behind it.
Yeah, and I think there's 3 different levels to that too. It's like, we interview a lot of agents and we're constantly expanding our team here at Thrive, and it's just like we tell people straight up in the interview, like there's 3 types of people that we recruit. There's bodies, there's, actual agents, and then there's leaders, right? And everyone, of course, wants to, get the agents and the leaders. But a lot of these brokerages, a lot of these teams will just recruit a body because it doesn't cost them anything, right? Yeah. But it goes back to culture, right? And I think that's the biggest thing is a lot of people that come into real estate, right? They see someone driving a nice car. They see the glamour of it, and they don't realize the amount of work it takes to get there. And it's this false expectation. So I'm a big believer in setting expectations early and often with agents, and it really sets them up to succeed as well.
I think it's going to change, like, because people like you, because the young people are the leaders now. Like, you look at the old guys, they're all going to get shuffled out. These young guys are hungry. They know how to do it better, and they're more relatable. Nothing beats social media. I don't care how much fucking money you spend on advertising with your billboards and, like me, commercials, billboards. Like, a young kid on social media getting YouTube is going to blow me out of the water because he's young, he's shown success, and everybody wants what he has, right? So I think it's going to change with people like you because the mentality behind it's there. Like, I think young kids now are 10 times better than we were when we were young. Like, I look at it all the time, like the Ricky
Gutierrez and all that.
Like all these kids, I like look up to them. I'm like, why the fuck am I looking up to this guy? I'm a 30-year-old man with kids, but I'm like, dude, I wish I had that mentality when I was 20. I have a kid on my team who runs the wholesale with me, Greg. He's 23. I have Dom, who's 22. Like, those are my business partners, a 22 and 23-year-old. Jack Cole from Keller Williams, he's a fucking hustler. The kid has the most strict schedule I've ever seen anyone. He's a killer real estate agent. He's 23. Like, all these 20-year-olds now, like us men, older men, are like looking up to these kids, and you guys don't know the power you have. Like, so you guys are so powerful, you have no idea, because these kids might be leading down a road where, what if they don't work out with you? Like, what if they just go into selling drugs? What if they go do drugs themselves? What if they go steal? Like, what if they go, like, that's a extreme, right? But it's just like they need young people like you to let you know, like, it doesn't matter. Like, you don't have to be 30 with a degree. You can be 22 years old and not know shit. Look what I built from it.
We've got access to the information. It's everywhere. So how is your recruiting aspect and, like, how you built your team in the beginning different than how it's ran now? Because I mean, almost 50% of all the volume that you've done in your real estate career has come in the last 12 months. So you've definitely switched something and you're able to get a lot more volume done now. And it seems like you're running a more efficient team and closing more deals. Like, what do you feel has switched just with you being a team leader and understanding how that works with how you recruit people now?
A lot of my business was from personal shit, just me. When I ran a team, I don't know how to run a team. I still am learning. Like, I'm not good. I learned that when I went to a speaking event. Like, I'm not a realtor. Like, I'm a marketer who knows how to do real estate. Yeah. I'm not a team lead. I'm a recruiter because I can get the bodies, right? Yeah. I can get the vision, the bodies, but it's hard for me to lead because, like I said, once I don't see activity, I will check out. Like, I've had that moment. You haven't had it yet, so it's fucking pointless for me to sit here, and I can never motivate you to do something. If you're not going to do it, you're not going to fucking do it. I just need to find the 15% that want to do it. Because if I have somebody that's in the 85% and they're rah every single day, I'm wasting my fucking time because they've had that moment where you don't have a fucking other option. And 15% of the people are that people. So like running a team, I still don't know what the fuck I'm doing, to be honest with you. Like, the uptick of business was all social media, like personal deals. When I ran a team, like it's hard for me I didn't have a lender partner that was providing leads, and it's hard for me to, like, I was still struggling growing a team. That's why I did such low splits, because I more wanted to create a family. Now it's dialed in. We're like, shit, like, and this only happened in the last three months. Like now we're like dialed in to recruit. But like, I just want to create a lot of the deals that we just do half retail, half wholesale. So our retail deals don't affect don't show the bigger picture of the business, because we have a lot of investment deals.
Is that the bigger side of that's what you enjoy more,
I teach agents how to be multidimensional.
Yeah.
So you're not a retail agent. You're a 50-50 agent. And that's what I think the power is, because now if one of my team members gets a deal, I don't want them to send it to me. Figure out yourself how to monetize it, because my job is to make you wealthy, right? So you got a deal, you must send it to me. Like, I'm like, they know they can try to monetize it first. Do you need me to help you with the hard money? Do you need me to help you? Like, what do you need me to help you with? If not, send it to me. I'll sell it, split it, whatever. So, like, the agents on my team, I'm really trying to teach them to be wealthy, and no one was that to me. And that's what the power of my team is, more like the access you have behind it. It's not I'm not the team to come to where you want 3 fucking leads a week. Like, I'm not that guy. I will teach you how to become wealthy, and I'll teach you how to monetize and everything, but I'm not going to give you 10 leads and say, here, call these, because 6% of leads get closed.
Yeah.
And it comes on the 8th to 12th contact. And I know you're not going to fucking do it. So I could literally go tomorrow with the lender and say, dude, just give me a bunch of crap Op City leads. I'm going to hand them out to agents. And I could be the team that says, oh, you want leads? Here you go. Leads. But I'm not providing value. So, like, at the end of the day, it's the value we provide.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I can't agree more with that, because that's my whole thing too, is like, and I'm still learning how to run a team and how to, really grow the Thrive brand and just overall the team. But I tell agents all the time, it's like, you got to think bigger than 3%, and that's the whole multi-dimensional agent, right? Is like, hey, if you can do a wholesale deal and you can get 3%, now you're thinking bigger than 3%, right? Yeah. So I think it all comes down to, though, that agent's mindset too, because a lot of agents, they've never even thought of wholesale, right? It's like they just put in this box, and it's like, hey, if you do come across an investment property, send it to this guy in the office, right? Yeah. This guy in the corner office, he does all of our investment stuff. And it's like, they don't actually teach you, like, this is how you underwrite it. This is how you take it from step 1 to 10.
Well, like, brokerages shun investment. Like, they shun us as investors. They're like, oh, that's a gray area. Well, fuck, it is. Like, it's not a gray area. Like, you can't stop every bad agent. No matter what you do as the biggest brokerage in the world, you can never stop. There's a 90% fucking agents are horrible, right? 5% do 95% of the business. How many agents are part-time, don't know what they're doing, lock up their people in contracts they're stupid with, they don't fill it out right. They put owners, like, that's why you have E&O insurance, right? Yeah. And you're sitting here shitting on investors because we have the word investor, and you're not taking into consideration, like, when I do a listing appointment, I ask the seller the hard question. I said, what are you going to do with the money? No one asks that question. And they're like, they're always like, and they never say none of your business. Never. I said, okay, whatever. Look, I don't do the whole build rapport. Like, I'm a professional when I go to my listing appointment. Like, I'm not your friend. I'm your friend before, after, during the transaction, but right now I'm not your friend. You call me as a businessman, here's what I'm here to do. But that confidence, dude, people eat that shit up. And I go in there and I said, what are you going to do with the money? We're going to spend it on this. I'm going to put it in my savings account and pay off my credit cards. I'm like, why? That's stupid. Do this. Like, here's your other options you have, right? You can't give them financial advice. But I'm like, do you know there's different options? I asked that because here's 5 different ways you can sell your home, right? What works best for you? Oh, we're going to go down this rally? Cool. But now if we go down that retail road, I don't have to fight my commission adjustment anymore. I just gave you 5 ways to sell your home. I gave you so much information that no one else gave you. You don't fight me on the 6%. I literally get signatures and it's it.
Well, and it ties back into, like, going into that wealth aspect too. It's not just all like, hey, let me get your house sold, or hey, an agent, let me show you how to get a listing, right? And that's one thing, that we do here at Thrive Real Estate is, like, we show people, like, I tell every guy, I study successful people, right? A lot of these young kids that come in, they have 1 bank account. And I'm like, dude, any successful guy I know has fucking 6 accounts, brother. Like, you need to get, and there's a lot of other little things, right, that go into that. So I think it ties into, like, that wealthy mindset, and really kind of, and it shows people you care too.
Not just that. Our job is the seller or fiduciaries, right? That's our job. You're teaching regular ass people, that could be a stay-at-home mom, that could be a guy with face tattoos that get out of trucking. You're teaching this person how to essentially be a financial advisor, right? Because we're telling these people just to sell their home, sell it, here, buy. You're not we're not allowed to give financial advice, which is fine, but you also don't have to shun people that are telling sellers and regular people, do you know there's options? Like, because you're not an investor. I am. I'm a real estate agent. Like, I'm trying to skate the line because people like try to find anything fucking wrong with anything you say. But you're teaching regular ass people how to just be realtors. You're not teaching them that there's different options to make themselves wealthy, to make other people wealthy. So like people like us, I don't teach my agents to be real estate agents. I teach them to be problem solvers. If someone's reaching out to you, whether it's a pay-per-click ad, the sphere, the social media, cold calling, they're saying yes, or they're reaching out to you to solve a problem. They have a problem that they need solved. If you go in there just to get a listing doc signed, did you really solve their problem? Because you didn't even ask them, why are you selling the home? Where are you going? Why do you need this money? What's important about the number you want? Like that's what our scripts are based off of, is question asking. Because now if I get the answers, now I have, this probably is your better option. Do you even know about this? No, what is it? Then you can go down the road. So we're not teaching agents to be a real estate agent. We're teaching them how to solve a fucking problem. Because people are not reaching out to you to say, I just need to list my house for 6%. It is like, hey, I have a problem, I need it solved. Whether that problem be, I need to upgrade because we're having another kid, yeah, that's a traditional way. But it also might be, I need to sell this home because my mom's dying. I got to get out here in 3 weeks. Hey, I got a foreclosure I'm too embarrassed to talk to you guys about, so I'm just going to sell this quick, and if it gets sold quick, maybe I don't have to worry about it, but if it sits on the market, now I'm fucked, right? So a lot of people, they're afraid to tell you what their problem is, so you have to ask them what the problem is, and that's what we try to teach, like even you, indirectly. You're just teaching people how to not be real estate agents, to solve a problem.
Yeah, and it's I call it like the multiple hats, right? Like just wearing multiple hats. Like when you go into that listing appointment, or you go in and you're having a conversation with someone at a bar or a restaurant, right? And real estate gets brought up. It's always like, it's not like, hey, what is my house worth, right? It's like, what are you going to do with the money, right? Why are you selling it, right? Why not keep it? Why not turn you into, why not go buy another one and keep this one, right? And just, it kind of opens that whole conversation, right? Where it's like, it might make more sense for you to hold this, right? Your interest rate's 3%. Like, come on. Like, has that crossed your mind, right? And it all ties back into that. And I think it all comes down to leading with value. And that's something we really try to take serious around here. It's like, you have to lead with value.
Dave Ramsey's in real estate. He's telling people to pay off all their debt.
He's selling leads now too.
Yeah, he's selling leads. Like, that's financial advice, right?
Yeah.
Telling them to pay off all their debt. Like, why pay off a car debt that's 3% interest rate? Like, that money you fucking pay your car off, you can go make money off of it, right? It's just like, there shouldn't be like all these fucking rules. Like, even like right now, I'm afraid to say something. If someone watches, they turn it in and say, "Oh, Justin's giving financial advice." No, I'm not. I'm asking them.
You have to worry about that too.
Yeah.
And that's how you build trust with a client. At the end of the day,
100%.
like you said, they called you for real estate, but it's like, hey, I can lay out every option on the table for you. Who else is going to come and tell you every option besides here's how I'm going to collect my commission check?
I had 3 clients in the past year that went from a listing appointment to a buyer consult.
Yeah.
Because I taught them how to use the money in their own home to go buy their next home. And they had no fucking idea they can do it. Because most people are they're average people. They're the fucking wife with 3 kids that they're raising and the husband that's working a 9 to 5. Like, maybe he's not on TikTok looking at all these fucking rich celebrities like, here's how I made money. But like, just like you said, dude, you're giving options for them to like become wealthy off of their own asset, like something that they don't even know they can make generational wealth.
Right. And most agents are like, cool, let's double end this thing, buy, sell, let's get it done,
And that's ethical, right?
Right.
Me sending it to my brokers to find someone in my brokers to buy the home so we can double in the commission so our brokers makes both ends.
Yeah.
Come on, stop. You can find something wrong with everything.
It's so backwards.
Yeah.
There's nothing we can do about it though.
Yeah, but like people like you guys, like those are the people that, like, you guys aren't my competition. You guys are like my comrades. You do the same thing we're doing. So like people like you are the best people for the industry. And you guys are going to be shunned because you're young, because you got the word investor in your name, because you're on a team that makes good money. Like someone's always going to find something wrong with you guys. But you guys are the future, and that's why I like doing stuff like this.
I appreciate that, man. It really means a lot. And I think something too on that note is like, man, you're someone that we take a look at, and we like back to studying successful people, right? I think there should be more of that, and like behind closed doors, or just like a lot, especially in this industry, and I would imagine a lot of industries, it's like all the guys, right, or all the women, and everyone talks, right? We all talk, even though we do the same thing. We're all talking. Hey, Justin, did you see this deal? Oh yeah, dude, I looked at that 2 weeks ago, man. Yeah. Whatever. So all those phone calls are happening behind the scenes, and I think that's really where we should focus our efforts. Is like, let's, whether you get the deal or I get the deal, like it's that abundant mindset, right? Of like, hey, man, I'm not mad that Justin, got a deal and he's going to make X amount of dollars on it. I'm genuinely happy to see that. And I think there needs to be more of that genuine, I want to call it joy, really, for other people's success.
Oh, yeah.
You know, especially in this industry in real estate. So switching gears, would you say like there's anything that is like a main struggle of yours right now that you're facing, or like a main challenge?
Everything.
Yeah.
I've never had success, so I don't know what it is. I don't know how to handle it. I don't know what to do with my money. I don't know smart ways to handle assets, what I should do with every commission. Like, I don't know business. I'm a fucking truck driver. Still have this person who I've never, ever, ever been around successful people. I don't know how to act. I don't know what to do with it. I don't know how to change. I don't know how to be that to other people. Like, I'm trying to learn so many things that I'm not dialed. So my goal, like, I'm like a fucking COVID ball, dude. I have so many different alleys of like where my mind's at every day, and it fucking sucks. And I don't sleep at all. And I left an industry where I was fucking toxic because I didn't sleep. I slept an hour before work, an hour after work for 3 years, and it tore my life apart. Now I'm doing the same shit because my mind's going so it's just me trying to dial down exactly what I'm looking for. And you're always going to find different struggles, but it's no longer like I'm still happy. That's the best part about it, is like I'm still happy because I'm in an industry that has opportunities and I love doing.
Yeah, I like that, man. I think that's that's something that it all comes down to happiness, right? I mean, what's all this about if it's not about that? So, on a side note, who's the most famous person you have in your contacts, Justin?
Oh shit, I don't think I have.
You got to have someone in there.
I have like producers and shit. Like,
yeah,
but yeah.
Is that how you get into that stuff? Is it mainly like when you were doing music videos and stuff? Was it like producers reaching out to you? Were you like trying to get yourself into those, or was
it a
it
casting company?
Okay.
So, my buddy put me in his movie Here, and I was playing football at the time and stuff, and I was like a bad guy in his movie. Yeah. And he moved to LA, and he hit me up one day, and he was like, "Justin, you need to move out here." I was like, "I got kids, dude. At that time I was married with 2 kids, and I was like, I got kids. I can't just move my life." He's like, "Dude, you would get so much work out here. I know how much you hate your life," and I really did. And he was like, "If I go out for something and I try out for something," he's a good-looking male model Venezuelan dude. Like, he's like, "I got to compete with 10,000 other good-looking dudes in LA." He's like, "They're either going to want a big, bald, tattooed white guy or not," right?
There's not many of you, right?
So I literally went out there that weekend. I said, "Cool, we'll go to different casting companies." And I joked on the phone. I was like, "If I'm in Sons of Anarchy in the corner, I'll retire." Like, that's my goal, is just to be in the corner of the fucking Sons of Anarchy show, and I'd retire, right? That was my very first gig I got.
That's badass.
Was that show. And then I did 11 TV shows, 24 music videos, but it was all, this guy has the look, right? The look that I get deemed negative on here was being praised somewhere else. So, and when giving up that was another thing that drove me to the ground, because that was my escape from everything. That was my change. Like, I had the opportunity to move there, and I could have got work every fucking day. And I have 2 kids here. So in my mind, I was like, I threw away my life. Not threw away, I don't want to say it like that. But I have kids. My responsibility, they're my priority. Like, my dreams are dead, right? And I followed that fucking guideline. I was a single dad. I could have made it work. My ex-wife and I had a great relationship. She was like, "I'll keep them during school year. You go there and they can spend summer with you." Because summer, there's a hiatus out there anyway. So she was willing to work with me. But in my mind, I was like, no, like, my kids need me every other week. Like, I can't have my dreams anymore. I'm not allowed to. So I threw away the only thing that was keeping me happy. And that's what led down the worst spiral. It was having all this having all this success, but people here just, dude, I'd be on a TV show like Bones. I'm just going to be in the background as a prisoner, and they're going to walk me into the fucking cell with the main character, right? But hundreds of my friends would watch that shit. Like, all the people on Facebook would watch it.
Dude.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, dude, this is such a petty thing. But here, it's like not common. Out there, it's very common. Like, everyone does that shit.
Yeah, out in LA.
But here is so cool. So, like, that's that pat on the back moment. So I've never had that in my life. It would give me this high where I was driving out there every fucking week. I was leaving work when I didn't have my kids, and I was driving straight to LA for 6 hours after leaving a 14-hour shift, sleeping in my car for an hour, acting all fucking day, and I'd call in sick the next day because I had to drive back and be at work at 4 a.m. Did that shit for years. I didn't care.
How's the money doing that?
I was gonna ask. Yeah,
It's not that great. I mean,
is it like
if you live there and did it every day, it's great money. But for me, I'm like, it's costing me money to drive back and forth, the gas. Like, I'm sleeping in my car, so I don't have to get a hotel. But to me, it wasn't the money, dude. I didn't give a fuck. I would do something for free. They would never know that. But Sons of Anarchy, I would have done that shit for free.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
that shit was cool.
To be on it, be recognized,
Yeah.
and like you said, have all your friends see it.
I fucking did a music video with Kevin Gates, and I had fucking lunch with him, and just talked all day. I'm on set with Lil Wayne, fucking Tyga, Nicki Minaj, all these people that I'm like literally shoulder to shoulder with, talking like I'm just a normal fucking friend. Like that shit was priceless.
Yeah.
And that was like, I had to throw all that away because I was sold this false reality where like I'm not allowed to have vision and dreams because I had kids and I have responsibility. Like you can make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's honestly something I'm struggling with too. Back to, that question is like, man, I'm getting in that stage of my life, right, where it's like kids and that kind of thing, and that's the scariest part about it. It's just like a lot of my buddies too. It's like, man, when you have that family, it's like everything changes, like you said, right? It's like you stop living for your dreams and your visions, and it's your life, but it's like, hey, I'm pouring everything I can into my family. So what would you say to like a young person out there, that wants to have a family that's just nervous to take that step?
I see my mom get treated like shit by every fucking man that she's ever met in her life. And that taught me to never treat a girl I'm with like someone treated my mom. I would never put my hands on you, call you names, and fucking do all that shit. I didn't drink alcohol until I was 21 because my dad died of that. I'm there for my kids all the time because my dad wasn't there for me. I had the work ethic I have now because my mom was that 3-job person who I never saw because she was fucking working her ass off to support us by herself. So everything I am today as a man and a dad is from what I witnessed as a kid. So your kids are going to witness. So the best advice is they're going to witness you. Do you want them to fucking hustle? Because you think it's a negative, but you're also, dad wasn't there. Fucking dad was building a 6-figure business so that you could take over when you're older. Or 7-figure business so you could take over. Dad was always working all the time. Yeah, dad was fucking making it so you paid for your college. Like, they're going to look at the positives later on down the road. But society is going to tear you down. Like, they tear me down saying, oh, you put work before your kids? Fuck yeah, I do. Like, I put work for myself, for my kids, anything, because I don't want them to ever have that mindset where I almost killed myself because of work. So, yeah, it's like the best advice I can give is do you, because you had kids for a reason. Like, if you're a dedicated father, don't let anyone tell you what you should be doing, because you're naturally going to do what you're going to do, and because you knew indirectly, like I was taught myself growing up, here's who not to be, here's who to be like. So all that was directly like my kids are going to see the good shit that I'm doing, not, oh, dad missed our soccer game.
Yeah. They'll see the positives, man.
Yeah.
It might take a minute, but they'll
know
see
what
it later
you're doing.
on.
If you guys have kids and you're actively taking it to be there, like if you're just a weekend dad who doesn't give a fuck, you're probably not going to be that guy. But you're probably not that if you ask.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So like if you live in the life that you think you need to live, like you're indirectly going to make the decisions that better suits them. Yeah. So like, don't be afraid to chase your dreams and what you think society might shun on you, because you know you're doing it for the end goal.
Yeah.
And your kids are going to see that they're going to see all your positives shine when it's time for them to step up.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that.
I like that. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I think it's been an awesome conversation, man. I really appreciate you opening up, just being so vulnerable and real. And
this is amazing. Like, seriously, this has been great. So glad you're the first guest.
Like people like you, like grown men look up to. So it's like, take that seriously. Like, you're thanking me, but I'm thanking you guys too. Like, you guys are giving me the drive that I never had, because I want to help other people be what you guys are at too.
Yeah.
I got one last question for you that's somewhat generic. If you could, do you read it all?
No.
You don't? Okay, I'll switch my question then. Who's your greatest mentor in your life?
Oh, man. I wish I would have known this before so I can think. It's my mom.
Your mom?
I don't want it to be a cheesy answer like that.
You don't want it to be your mom?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, that's a real answer. It's my mom. Like,
Yeah.
everything I learned was from her. Like, the embarrassing shit, like the good shit, the bad shit, the what not to do, like, is all direct. Like, my mom took the bullet. Like, she had to be treated like shit for us kids to know what is real relationship like needs to be. So it's my mom. Just seeing her, like, she's my goal is to buy her a home, and luckily she just wants a fucking manufactured home. Like, she wants to live in a community that's fucking $700 a month HOA, but it has the bingo on site.
Oh yeah.
She can have her golf cart and go to her neighbor's house and go to bingo. Like, that's her life. And I'm like, dude, that's sustainable when I don't have to buy you a fucking mansion.
We can do that, Mom.
That's my ultimate goal. I hope that comes soon. Like, I just want to be able to hand her the keys and say, here you go. Like
Love it. I love it.
it's payoff now.
Yeah, man. I love it, man. Well, thank
Very
you
cool.
again. And
Thank you guys.
yeah, thank you for everyone that listened. And we appreciate, you guys spending your time with us. And anything that you guys need, everything's going to be clipped down below. So make sure you guys check that out. And thank you and take
Catch you
care.
on the next one. Appreciate you.
Cool.
Oh, yeah. Thank you guys.